Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine. Today, we are welcome with HollyHood, Haley J. How are we doing?
The Bougetto is bad, eh? You gotta say the whole thing. Come on, put me over,
I,
man.
I was going to butcher it. I'm sorry.
I got him stuttering already. This is gonna be great. All right.
I don't know if it's you that's got me stuttering or the lack of sleep because this winter storm is kicking my butt, but we'll
Oh
see.
man, it's a little chilly right now in Texas, but I got away from all that snow and stuff. I'm doing great.
Look, the last 2 days, I've done 36 hours of snow removal. I am over
Oh,
it.
you're doing snow removal too? That's hard
Yeah,
work. I give you
no.
some respect because that's hard work.
We did 22 hours Wednesday and then 12 last night, and I
Wow.
got probably another 36 ahead of me before Sunday.
Where are you? Where are you located?
Right outside of Chicago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I actually we met in December at CSW.
And you came and said tough.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, you was like, it's funny. I went to Tough. And I was like, Tough, don't be telling people I do podcasts. Because a little top secret, I really don't like doing podcasts. Not because of you guys, but because of me. I feel like I'm just like, I don't know, I'm awkward. I'm not myself. I'm not good with the interview type style. My brother tells me I need to learn how to answer questions better because I'm like too honest. But
Okay.
yeah, I did talk to Tough about you and he was like, oh yeah, he's a great kid. You need to do it. So there you go. And then Jordan hit me up and I was like, all right, boom, I'm on it. Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to Tough,
Yeah,
great
shout out
guy.
to Tough Tony.
I got one question about him. We'll get there.
Okay.
I'm gonna start though. Most people I interview are not second generation. So, like, usually I ask, when did people find it? Obviously, it's been with you your whole career or whole life, I should say. So,
Ish. Yeah.
what's your first memory of wrestling?
Um, Man, my brother and mom used to watch wrestling when I was a kid, and my brother had like a whole setup. I think my first memory is like him playing with all of his action figures. He had the cage, he had like a whole setup, you know what I mean? And then yeah, we always watched WWE as a kid. And then my mom had a friend who actually like owned an indie company. And me, as a freaking what, 8, 9 year old kid, I didn't even know that like indies were a thing. So she took us to her friend's show, and I'm just like in awe that I could get in the ring as a kid, like play in the ring. And then B, this is a way to like get to WWE. That's when I like really started clicking for me. And my mom was actually doing photography for them. She wasn't wrestling at the time. And I was like, yo, you should go wrestle. Like, you could wrestle. Anyone can wrestle. Go do it, right? And she did. And then she paved the way for me ever since then. But yeah, I like set myself up for success, I always say, when I was like 8 or 9, because I told her to wrestle. And I always knew in the back of my mind that I was going to do this, but I tried to run from it from a really long time. So yeah, it's just, I'm built for this. So yeah.
What do you think really made you fall in love with it?
The entrances, the entertaining part of it. It wasn't necessarily like the wrestling in ring stuff. It was like the storylines and the characters. And I'm big on entrances. Still to this day, I hate when someone's like, "Oh, watch this match," and they skip the entrance. Excuse me, I want to see that. Um, yeah, that's always what caught my attention as a kid. I still love it to this day. My entrance is my favorite part about me, and yeah, the entrances.
Who do you think has the most memorable entrance?
Man. Well, I mean, my favorites, I'll give you my two favorites. Jeff Hardy, his dance, everyone used to roast me because he would be doing his dance. And they're like, oh, yeah, doing the whole gay thing. I'm like, man, whatever. And then Eddie Guerrero, he came out with his car and that shit was pimping. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, those are my favorites.
I couldn't agree more. Jeff Hardy was always one of
He
my
had that
favorites growing up.
energy.
It's just the best. I always got in trouble for jumping off stuff just because of Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, yeah, yeah, exactly.
uh,
Shout out to him, too.
what ultimately made you decide, hey, let me get a try at this. Let me jump in the ring.
Okay. Um, well. let me just say, throw this out there real quick. If you have not watched Wrestlers on Netflix, go watch that because my story is really told on there
It's
a
really
lot.
good on there. Yes.
Yeah, but basically I was, out in these streets leaving. Yeah, I left all right. Living that lifestyle and it got my son involved and I didn't appreciate that. Guns were involved and it was just a real eye opener for me. And I ran away from the situation and went to Louisville and was like, "All right, I'm ready to start training." And I hopped in the ring and, started doing the right thing versus the wrong thing and took off ever since.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe, if I did my research correctly, you got your start in IWA Mid South.
Yeah, IWA. Yeah, and let me just say, IWA, credible company. Okay, they got so much history there. They've had everyone, CM Punk, Colt Cabana, everyone has been through there, right? And I'm proud that that's where I started. But I definitely learned like how to protect myself and like more respect in the business. Like that, they were very old school. There was probably a fight in the locker room every Thursday night, like it was ridiculous. But I learned a lot of what not to do and what not to say and all those things. So yeah, I appreciate that. And Ian Rotten, shout out to Ian Rotten. He taught me how to protect myself. Let's talk about it. They Ian is very much himself. I can't even help that I'm blunt and me, but I wanted to be HollyHood Haley J because for one, I got it tatted on my chest right here. That's what everyone called me in high school. That's what my little street name was. Like that's me already, right? So I thought. And then I did like a rumble or something. It was before my match. Yeah, I did a rumble or something for them. And we have our afterwards meeting and Ian called me out. He's like, your name, it just doesn't fit you. Like HollyHood, like you're too ghetto. And I'm like, what? So then Timmy Lou, who was another wrestler, was in the back and he's like, yeah, you should be HollyHood. And I was like, boom, clock it. I'll take that. And then yeah, everyone hated that. So it worked out for me too. And then that's good because there's so many Hollywoods and there's no HollyHoods. I'm the only one.
It
And
definitely helps stick out.
yeah. And then Ian also in another meeting, Palm Strike the sorry, I don't know if I cuss on here. I need
You're
to
good.
know.
You're
Yeah,
good.
Palm Strike the fuck out of me in front of everyone. And I'm looking and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I do this little combo, Palm Strike backhand super. And it was probably after my first match with Thunder Kitty. I had did it. And Ian called me out in the meeting. He was like, he just walked up to me and he goes, pow. And I look at him crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? And he was like, did that hurt? And I'm like, in shock, low key. And I look over at my mom. And my mom's like, did it? She's looking at me like, answer. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, no. And he was like, exactly. Like, learn how to throw a palm strike. It's boom, boom, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay. But like, I miss that. I don't know, that nervousness, like being nervous in the locker room. I feel like that pushed me to do better in the ring every single time. Being scared to fuck up. I got a little comfortable at OVW. That was my house, and the fans made it real easy for me. They loved me, and yeah, way too comfortable.
How important do you think IWA was like to the evolution of HollyHood? And I guess a two-part question. What was going through your mind when you won that first women's championship?
At IWA?
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a story behind that one. First of all, you know Alice
Okay.
Crawley, right?
Yes, yes.
That's who I won it from, and she's a bitch. Let me tell you why. So, okay, now let me answer the first question. Okay, so IWA helped HollyHood because they helped me remember, like I went in with that like street mentality that I had, like, respect, you're gonna respect my name, you're not about to like, you know, walk all over me, whatever. I don't know. I just had a whole different mentality back then. And at IWA, they let me live that, which helped, my character get over even more because I was just being me, turning it up, being extra about it, right? But then when I went to OVW, they kind of, whoa, reel it back. We had to get a little more political, whatever. And yeah, I always appreciate IWA for that because HollyHood, man, she crazy. She crazy. And IWA Mid South, crazier. So she fit right in. But when I won the title, keep in mind I'm young and scared in this locker room, right? Okay. So boom, we have the match or whatever. And right before the match, Sean P. RIP the gang. He's the ref. He came up to us and he was like, there's only 2 tables. And Alice had told me like there's 3 and it's gonna be boom, boom, boom. She put me through the last one, she went or whatever. And she was like, oh, it's okay, we'll figure it out. She knew, but she was like, oh, it's fine, we'll figure it out. Haley, we'll just do this and then we'll do this and we'll do this. And I'm like, okay. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. We get out there. She put me through the table first, I think. And then I do something, I put her through the table, I hit my Jeff Hardy, the scariest, ugliest swanton I ever hit in my life. I think I just flipped off the rope and said, don't die. Ah! And then I hit her, boom. And then I pinned her, 1, 2, 3. And then I looked at her and said, what the fuck did you just do? Because I wasn't supposed to win. And she was like, congratulations. Don't forget you're a heel. I start crying because I'm like, oh my God, they're going to whoop my ass when I get to the back. Like, what? Oh my God, what did I do? So I'm like, I stand up and I'm like talking to the crowd with the title. Oh, yeah, it's like my dick. Yeah, I told you. And I get to the back and everyone's clapping. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, they snuck that one in on me, which it was nice, but I was terrified. Terrified. Thought I messed up and I was about to get beat up, but I didn't. So yeah.
How were you feeling when you walked back there and you got the ovation?
Um, I guess proud because I was still pretty new. I wasn't expecting that. And they preach on like pay your dues and like, I'm losing matches, but my personality was just too big, and business is business. You gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, I felt proud. I think that was like my 12th match ever. I don't know. I have to go back and don't quote me on that. But it was pretty early on. So I was like, oh, I'm doing something right. That's what I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm getting somewhere. I haven't figured it out yet. I still haven't, but I'm figuring it out.
You're working on it.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah.
I've noticed a pattern though. Most companies that you go to, it's not long before you're put into that spotlight or put
Yeah, I
into the
only play
main
one
storyline.
position, dog. It's top dog. I
Top
only play
dog.
one position. I always say that. I only play one position. It don't matter how long it take me to get there or for them, the people to realize it. I only play one position. But yeah, I think so too. I pretty much take over every company that I've went to, IWA, OVW. Wow, even Wow went out there, did a whole different character, tried a whole different thing, still went to the top. And it's the personality, man. If there's any advice I could give any of you young wrestlers, be a personality, be a character, be bigger than life. And once I go through that curtain, I am that.
It also wasn't long actually before like after you started that you went to OVW.
hmm
As I've heard in other interviews, you just kind of got the call for Al or the meetup from Al, and Al told you to come in pretty much. To shorten a long story,
Kind of.
what was it like going through your mind when they actually brought you in? And I guess a little bit more detail on how that worked.
Well, they came to my house. So,
Yeah.
Kentucky got shut down during COVID
Hmm.
and we didn't. In Jeffersonville, Indiana, Grindhouse now where my pops is school, they were still open. So OVW needed to use our building, our ring, whatever. So Tony, it's his building. He was like, yeah, of course. But, you come over here and when you check out the building or whatever, just have a look at our students and maybe give one of them an opportunity, right? So Al did. And he seen me and Billy Starks and Rev got on there. It was actually a couple people who ended up going and working for OVW at the same time. But um, I had my first OVW match in my ring in Jeffersonville, Indiana, not even at OVW. And then once, the world opened back up and they went over there, I was still working for IWA Mid South, which was in the arena, right? So we had OVW on Tuesdays and then IWA on Thursdays. And then I held the IWA women's title and the OVW women's title at the same time, which was crazy because Al Snow and Ian Ron didn't get along, or the companies didn't get along, whatever the case was. Nobody said it would ever happen. And matter of fact, my pops included, everyone told me like, "Oh, you're gonna have to pick a company. You can't do both." So when I held both of those titles at the same time, I was like, "Who can't do both? Huh? Look at me now, right?" But then peep game. Al Snow changed the days from Tuesdays to Thursdays, and now we're doing TV on Thursdays. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm picking OVW because, they're on live TV and that's what I want to do. So, boom, I dropped the title at IWA and then went on with OVW. But it was like my whole first year I was at IWA. And then my second year I was at OVW. And then I got signed to WOW, but I was still able to do both. And then I told you I got comfortable. I ended up spending like, what, 4 years at OVW. I just recently, retired and is moving on, moved out here to Texas, see what Booker T's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to that Grindhouse thing. I
Mm-hmm.
believe it was episode 1 of the Netflix series. There's a part of that where you're training in the ring
Yep.
with your son and Reverend Ronnie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is that filmed in the Grindhouse Academy?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I saw the
The
picture on
masks on the wall.
the masks on the wall and the curtain. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Tony told me that's his academy.
Yep.
Uh, what's your relationship like now with the legend Too Tough Tony?
Oh, it's awesome. That's my dog. Before I left, I mean, I was at their house probably every week, annoying them, you know. Tony like takes care of me like a second daughter, man. He's really the coolest. And then my pops, my actual pops, Rev, he lives right across the street from him. So they're always together. So I come up and get my Rev therapy sessions, talk to Rev and then see Tony on my way out, whatever it is. And then his daughter, Ariel, she's like one of my closest friends too. So yeah. They just like adopted me without even asking.
It happens. It
Yeah,
happens,
that's my
especially
dog though. I
in
love Tony.
it happens especially in the streets.
Yeah, yeah,
Wink, wink.
exactly. I just float around out here and people are like, I like her. And I'm like, yeah.
It's happened to me a few times. uh,
Yeah.
how important would you say Reverend Ronnie is to like your wrestling journey?
Super important. He is a big reason why I'm even still sticking around. I wanted to quit my first year at IWA. I'm out here getting beat up. All these dudes in the locker room. I was so small, probably like 108 pounds. I was really small and I was doing a lot of training. He was doing his classes. So I'm training 3 times a day. Well, I would probably do 2 classes and then watch the last one and then go do like the actual shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it was just a lot for me. And I would go like write myself letters like, oh my God, you can do this. Da, 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 da. But Rev, he just, I don't know. There's always a piece of him with me. He's like very motivating, very passionate. He loves to help people. And that kind of like rubs off on me too. My mom's the same way. Ugh. They tell me to be more selfish, but then I watch them even growing up and they've always like, helped people within wrestling, not even in life. In life they're very caring, give the shirt off their back. But in wrestling, trying to help people get ahead and stuff, the never selfish people. And yeah, I'm trying to be less like that. You got to be kind of selfish to make it to the top, man. And I'm going to show them that. Okay? But yeah, he's super important. He's super important to me in life. That's my pops. Like, yeah. He's the one who has keep me calm, okay? Because that little crazy Haley, I've grown up a lot. I say this all the time. I've grown up so much, but people don't even realize it. The people who really know me, they know. But that little crazy girl, she's still in there. And sometimes I be having like, that's so Raven, little visions of me doing the craziest things. And I'll go talk to Rev about it. And he'll be like, no, you know? And yeah, he saved everybody. So I'm not the only one who should be grateful for Rev. That's what I'm trying to say. I think all y'all need to give him his credit.
Maybe I'll reach out and see if I can get him on here as well.
Hell yeah. Do
Yeah,
it. Do it.
definitely.
And
We
talk about
touched.
me. And I
We
was
can do that. We can do that. We kind of touched on the fact that you did a little bit of training with your son, maybe just playing around.
yeah.
You talk about him a lot in the Netflix series.
Hmm.
Obviously, he's important to you.
Yeah, he's my
What's
reason. That's the reason right there.
what's it like being a mom in pro wrestling?
It's hard. And I say that because I mean for him he thinks I'm like the coolest person ever, I'm like a real life superhero almost. But for me, Like, I just moved to Texas. He's not here. I'll be here 3 to 6 months. And my son is not here with me. People don't realize like the sacrifices, you got to make. I have a great support system, thank God. Not everyone could, do this. But me and his dad, great co-parenting. They're very supportive of my career, and they fully believe that, if I put my all into it and focus, that I can make it to the next level. So they want to help me do that. So they got my son in Frankfurt, playing his sports, doing his school, and he's got his daddy just likes to pop him out. So he's got a brother and a sister and another brother on the way. He's around his siblings, so that makes me happy because I had a brother, and I could not imagine being an only child. Let me just say that I'd be bored. Okay, I was always on my brother's butt. I did whatever he did, so that makes me happy because I ain't popping none out. I'm sorry, Zayden. I love you, but I can't pop another one out right now. So yeah, he gets to be a kid, and I get to go, work and live my dream. But it's hard on your mental because I used to wake up every day. Oh, what's Zayden want to eat? What's Zayden? I got I'm worrying about somebody else, and now I'm like, oh, what do I do? Okay, I guess I can go to the gym. I can do this. Like, yeah, but yeah, I miss my baby, man. That's the hardest part about this shit is not having that time with your son. And they grow up fast, let me say, so fast. Every time I see him, he gets bigger. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Have the basketball skills improved?
I'm glad you asked. Yes, they have. He's very committed. I love it. Even when it's cold, he wants to go outside and play ball. But he's still, we're still working on the dribbling. His shooting's getting way better. He keeps making them, which is why his head's hyping up. And then, he's a good little defensive player anyways. He'll go and he like to block and he'll be like, not in my house. I'm like, Zayden. Yes. But then also I'm like, I tell him, I'm like, look, you can talk shit, that's fine. You just have to be good. You have to be good. I did. I talk shit when I play ball. His daddy didn't really, but his daddy was good. So hopefully some of that rubs off on him. I wasn't naturally good. I had to work for that. I'm Caucasian. I had to work for that. So hopefully he got a little bit of his daddy's skills. They ain't came in yet though, I'll tell you that. His granny be mad too. It's so funny. She's so competitive. God bless.
That's
Yeah.
great. I mean, with the dedication you have for this, and if he has just an ounce of that, I'm sure he'll be
That's what I
something.
need him to see too. Like you can, once I get there, he'll see all the hard work. It was for something, and then he'll know it'll click for him. So, yeah, he tells me all the time, "So you need to go to WWE," and I just be like, "You need to go to WWE." Shut up, shut up. I'm
You know,
trying.
one day he'll be able to look, and you'll go from an IWA Mid South all the way to an OVW to a WWE, and that's quite the
Exactly.
progression. And
Yep.
uh, select few get to make it there.
hmm I'm glad that the Netflix thing, him and my mom were on there. That'll be, that's super cool for me. That's there forever. And I think when I'm old lady, that'll be cool to look back on. And
Speaking
then him
of,
too.
speaking of your mom, amazing Maria,
Mm-hmm.
you and her had a very interesting on and off screen rivalry during the Netflix series. How
Mm-hmm.
important do you believe just that story, as far as the Netflix series went, was to your success and maybe your career going forward?
I think super important because everyone talks about it. That's what everyone talks about is that, death match. Um, Even though it wasn't really a death match. Thanks, Al Snow. But yeah, everyone talks about that. And the Netflix thing definitely boosted my career up a lot. So I'm thankful that it was her. She didn't really get to get her run that she could have got if she would have started sooner or whatever the case may have been. Or even if she didn't have two kids stringing on her back because she didn't have the support system that I have, you know what I mean? So um, she didn't get to make it to where she wanted to be. So I think that it's cool that we made that like milestone together. Like we're both on Netflix. And then when we got signed to WoW, that's a national TV company as well. So that's pretty cool. That's with my mom. We won the titles there. That was pretty cool. Yeah, she's my tag partner in life and in wrestling for life. So yeah, yeah, that's my girl.
It's amazing to see a duo like yourself or mother and daughter combination work the way you do. It's inspiring because a lot of mothers and daughters don't get along. Usually,
Right.
it's the other like usually
And
they.
we didn't. Don't let we didn't, and we still don't. All the time we'll fight. I guess we gotten better. She's gotten better. She don't really argue with me as much. She'll be like, okay, and then she stops, and I'm like, that's no fun, you know. But yeah, we have like a more of a sister relationship, I would say, and that's like a blessing and a curse, you know. But um, yeah, I mean a lot of people I think come up in what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Relate to the mother daughter thing, and they are appalled that I slapped my mother across the face or made her bleed and any of the things that I did to her. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was waiting 22 years to do that, you know? And I think I really was. You know, it was good. She said slap me in the ring when she was standing there across from me. She had her hands behind her back, and I'm like screaming at her, and I'm screaming at her, and I'm like, do something. And she's just like, slap me. And I'm like, bet. I didn't even think twice. Ah, boom, slap shit out of her. And I was like, yeah, all right, do something. Oh man. I wanted her to beat me up more in that match, just for like my mind, the story that I think I'm telling. But Al Snow's a genius and it's his story, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do whatever you want, Al. But I wanted her to like beat me up, and that was my reason. Like, even though I'm winning, I'm gonna cheat, whatever, and I'm gonna come back and cry, do the deal. I want her to give me a reason. Like these people want to see me get boom, 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 boom for a second. And yeah, I wish I just had a little more of that. But you know, Al Snow loved it. Netflix loved it. It was great. It was great.
You know, in the Netflix series, something that I think really stuck out to me as a wrestling fan was how well they showed Al's ability to create stories and ability to teach you guys.
Yeah.
What's maybe like one of the biggest takeaways you got from Al as far as building a character or building a story?
Um, what's the why? That's what I always think about from Al. That sticks with me the most, I think. Why? Why? Why do you want to do that? Why is that? Why this? He wants a why for everything, every move, every, walk, whatever. Um, but as far as like stories and stuff, I think him just having as much wrestling knowledge as he has and telling all the stories or whatever helped me learn, because a lot of my stories that I got in, he gave me a little bit of creative control, which we really don't get. Let me just say that they they have these meetings allegedly, and they write the show out before allegedly, but then we get there and nobody knows what we're doing. Okay, so then we find out then, or right before we're supposed to go out, whatever, and we don't really have time to like sit and put the thought into it. And I think it would be better if we did. But so if it was like the big pay-per-view, what did we do? What was it on Netflix? It was the hair versus hair
Yeah,
match with Layla Gray.
Layla.
Originally, Al was gonna put us in a ladder match. And I was like, how about, and I always want to throw a suggestion out there. How about we do this? Snip, snip. And he was like, well, you're going to have to cut some of your hair. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Just cut it short. It's fine. I actually hate it now. I still have short hair. I hate it. um, but yeah, we did that instead of the ladder match. And that was all me. Like he let me pitch the whole thing from, mom coming out, me pulling myself, all that, all that. And yeah, he just like he'll take your idea and tweak it and I guess make it like more drawn out or bigger, whatever. Um, but yeah, 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 yeah,
Do
yeah.
you still ever get the chance to pick Al's brain, even though you've left?
Al will always be there for me. I could call Al right now. He's gonna answer. I'm gonna give him his time from me because he probably needs it. But yeah, he'll be there. Doug Basham too. Him, Shiloh. Shiloh's one of the outrunners, but he's big part of OVW behind the scenes stuff and very helpful. But yeah, those three, you could call them right now, send them matches, they'll watch it and critique it for you. They'll always be there. Once you're in there, you're always there. You're family.
That's amazing. You
Yeah.
know, it's so upon doing research, something that I've found is really cool is you've been everywhere. You literally got to travel all over the place. You've made an appearance just about, I'm not gonna say every indie, but you're making your way around. How
Hmm.
important do you think that factor is to like the growth of your character and maybe the success that you've been able to have so far?
Um, well, you gotta move and groove to learn, you know. My character, it's always gonna be me, you know. Some people may hate me, some people may love me. PWI said I was the most controversial wrestler when they put me in there, and I was like, I was so offended, but I'm like, it is what it is. That's how people really are. Some people really hate me, some people really love me, but me going out to all these different places, one thing about me is I'ma always be me and remain me. I'm not changing up for nobody. So you see me in a new place, you gonna see HollyHood Haley J. You'll see Haley J in the back, but you see HollyHood in that ring. And yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't never changing. It doesn't matter where I am. I'm always gonna be me. Always. And if I don't, I'm not gonna, get over the people. I'm not gonna get the hate from the crowd or the love from the crowd if I try to do something different. So yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned going to WoW. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Uh, there you're not Hollywood Haley J. You're Holly
No.
Swag.
Yeah.
If there
Hong
is a
Kong.
difference, what's the difference between the two?
If there is there's a hell of a difference. First of all, HollyHood, Haley J, is a little hood rat who runs them streets and hits people with socks and rocks. Okay.
Okay,
Holly Swag is a tow truck driver. She has a complete different accent. I talk
I like it.
more country. I'm like Hong Kong. Um, yeah. Yeah. Holly Swag's cool though. A lot of people liked her. I didn't really get it. The whole deal with that, I kind of went in there. I did not want to be another character, obviously. I want to be me. I want to be HollyHood, especially on, a major TV platform like that. Like, come on. I'm trying to build my brand here. But the deal was me and mom as a package. And, mom's dad was a truck driver. So for some reason, they was like, oh, yeah, that's your story. So I'm like, okay, it's me and mom though. And if I'm like, if I say no, that could possibly take away her opportunity, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. But when I get there, I'm gonna you know, I'm gonna do it so bad, they're not gonna want me to do it. But I was like, I was kind of being a smartass with the whole accent and everything, because I'm from Jackson, Tennessee. It's not, that country. But I went way overboard with it. I dove head first in there, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it, which was an eye opener for me, number one. And number two, they loved it. They loved it. They were like, "Oh my gosh, she's great!" And I'm like, "Oh, shoot, all right, bet." And then, yeah, me and mom, we went and took over WoW. And I have a lot of fun at WoW. Like, people may think it's corny, cheesy, whatever, but it is so funny. I have so much fun.
You spoke about like, I, excuse me. Earlier, you spoke about you and your mom winning the tag team titles there at WoW.
Hmm.
Um, Before I ask you about that, whose idea was it for the name Mother Truckers?
Mm. Good question. I
It's a
feel
good name.
like
It's a good
I
name.
yeah, I feel like it could have been mom. It
Okay,
was either mom or Jesse Bell, somebody. It was one of us in the group. Think it was somebody. I don't know if it was mom or Jesse or maybe a collab of them two. I don't know if you know who Jesse Jones is. You should. Jesse Bell
I've heard of her.
Smothers. Yeah.
I've heard of her.
But she and actually everyone say a prayer for her because she's going through breast cancer right now and she just had to have her, stuff cut off and everything. So say a prayer for my girl Jesse. But yeah, maybe them. Maybe them. Somebody being funny. It was funny. Mother truckers. Mom got it on
Yeah,
her butt. We say honk honk. I started that. I'm like honk honk, just trying to be funny. And because you know why? Because when we were younger, me and my brother, anytime we passed a semi on the road, we always did that. And we were like, honk your honk honk. So I was trying to be funny and it worked. It got over big actually. All the kids, honk honk.
that's
Yeah.
great. It's an easy way to get the crowd into it,
Oh
which
yeah.
is the whole point.
We had the crowd honking. Oh yeah.
What was your feelings like when you guys actually won those titles? And like what did maybe that do for your guys' relationship?
Mm. it was good. I think it probably meant a lot more to mom at the time, like with her being old as she is, and just her in her journey, I guess I should say. um but yeah, when we won, I wasn't thinking about any of that because I remember they were like, they want me to get emotional. So I was really trying to focus on I'm not a very emotional person anyways. Like I think I just recently am healed to the point where I cry. Okay. I didn't even cry before. So I'm like trying to be emotional or whatever. But then I look over at mom and her whole eyes busted and bleeding. And at that point, I'm like, boom, instant anger. And I'm like, who the fuck did it? Who did it? And I start kicking the girls. And mom's like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's fine. Hard cam. And I'm like, okay. All right, bet. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I think the Netflix thing is cool. I wouldn't say cooler than that, but kind of. A lot more people seen it, you know?
Do you have any unfinished business at WoW?
Oh, yeah. I got mad unfinished business. Pink, Pink, Penelope Pink, Marina Tucker, whatever y'all know her as. Yeah, I'm about to lay hands on her one last time. And you know what? I might want to become, their world champion. Who knows? I've been in a tag team this whole time, but story done changed up. They are trying to like merge my HollyHood character within the Holly Swag character, which was my original plan. I'm not getting it how I want it. They gave me the hat, they gave me the fur coat, they gave me the soccer rocks, but they're still calling me Holly Swag. They even let me say HollyHood, but my name's still Holly Swag, and that's kind of not my whole point. I want it to be HollyHood. That's the brand I'm building. But either way, so my character has kind of merged into me-ish. But yeah, I don't have any people. So I could go this way. I could go on a program with mom again. People love that. Or I could go this way and go be, wild world champion. Who knows? We'll see. Or I could be tag champion again. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, to be honest. I don't know what I want to do with my life.
Just have to
I
see
just know
where it
I want
goes.
them to bring me back. That's what I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've touched on WoW. We've talked about OVW. You've made appearances in AEW.
Yeah.
Most of that, like within the first 2, 3 years of your career, like
Yeah.
and the Netflix series. Were you able to at any time really enjoy your successes?
I don't even I don't think I enjoy them now. People remind me all the time of all the things that I've done, and I should be grateful, or, whatever. This is the part that my brother's talking about. I sound horrible when I talk sometimes. But look, this might sound bad, but I'm not where I want to be in my journey yet. So I don't, sit back and I'm like, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Cause yeah, all that's fine and dandy, but that's not paying the bills for me. So I'm like, cool. Um, it isn't until, somebody sits here who's been doing this a lot longer than I have and telling me their story and, how little they've done and, how they wish they had the opportunity to do this or whatever, that I'm really like, okay, Haley, like, you have done a little bit and you should be grateful for everything. And yeah, I am grateful. I'm very blessed, but I'm not where I want to be in my career. Okay. So, no, the answer is no. I do not sit back and, you know, yay, Haley. I'm like, okay, what's next? I need to keep going. So it's not enough. I gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. So, yeah.
Is that always what's on your mind? Like, kind of what can I do next? Like, what's the
Yes. Not
next
even
step?
like with what can I do to get to the next level? And I know the answer is like the gym. I gotta beef up and I have to look like a wrestler. But as far as like building my brand and like, all that, like what can I do? How can I make it bigger? How do I keep this thing going? Because if we're being honest, like I was popping when the Netflix thing happened. And everybody always says, oh, your 15 minutes of fame is up or whatever. Nah, shoddy, my 15 minutes of fame is just starting, but I gotta figure out how to keep it going. That Netflix, it done dried out. And everyone told me that. And I was like, I guess I just didn't take them serious. I'm like, whatever, it'll always be there. But no. People already watched it. Okay, next. There's continue, everything. The ball just keeps rolling and more things keep coming out, new people, new things, new shiny toys. So it's like you got to keep doing something to stay relevant. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about what I've already done because that ain't helping nobody. But I need to write it down or something before I forget, that's for sure. Yeah.
Something that I think is really cool is people that get to do work in the NWA. It's got
Hmm.
like one of the longest lineages of all companies out, maybe
Hmm.
even more so than the WWE at times. You've been able to challenge for the TV title, the women's title. What are
Kenzie,
some
yeah.
things you'd like to achieve in the NWA?
Well, I want to take the Burt, number one. And then I already said it. I want to go out to all the territories and collect all the titles. I want to be the first ever to hold every single title, women's title that the NWA has to offer all at the same time. I'm gonna be that one. Um, NWA, they be playing games with me. Everything's business out here. You gotta, make decisions and yeah. I'm not trying to sign a contract at this time. And they are trying to build their brand and work their contracted ladies. So I haven't been back, but I'm still on good terms with everyone. Everything's good. I just made a business decision, and I'm gonna stand on it. Cause dang, I got kids. I got a kid, just one, but that's Heath Slater. I got kids. Yeah.
In this business, it's probably important for you to stand your ground,
Yeah, you
and
got
that's
to. That's why all these people I try to tell mom, like, you're always going to accept a hot dog and a handshake if that's what you're accepting. Like, you got to know your worth and know your value and know what you could bring to the company. And then, stand on that. Like, I stand on my rate, my business. Like, I know I'm worth that. And I know I can put asses in seats. So, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. But they'll come to the realization, everybody, it's all business. And let me just say, the people who run NWA, so aside Billy Corgan, he's, music industry or whatever, but who are, his other people around him handling stuff are professional wrestlers at a time who are old school, and they have a different mentality. And I already know that. So I'm just like, you know, I just yeah, I don't know. I'm standing on business. I'm sure I'll be back at the NWA before you know it. There's a lot of girls there that I want to wrestle. They're all aggressive. Kenzie, Kylie, all them, very aggressive. I love that shit. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
do you want to be the one to take the title from Kenzie
Yeah, from
to
Kenzie.
end that
I think
reign?
I'm the only. Who else there is credible enough to do it? Me. Yes, I want to be the one to do it. Me. And I thought, to be honest, the way that all the talk was happening, like our match had a lot of buzz around it. And then when it got to it, we didn't really. I got there. They're like, you got 6 minutes. I wanted to headbang everybody. I'm like, what? What? Come on, man. But it's TV. That's how TV works. So it's just like, ah, very frustrating at times. But yeah, man, Kenzie, I'll take her any day. Her little sister too. I had a street fight with her sister not too long after that, and it was fun. They a little wild.
The NWA has like arguably one of the best women's divisions,
Hmm.
probably in the business right now. That's one thing that the NWA does excellently. Do you ever see that as a challenge, or is just HollyHood always at the top?
Um, no, I have perfect vision and I don't see any competition.
Oh,
I
I like that.
I'm just saying. I No, everybody has their own place. They all bring their own thing to the table, and I'm not taking credibility away from anyone. Kenzie, I got the utmost respect for that girl, just off the simple fact that she does so much for the business. Like she runs her own promotion and she's running around doing this, and it's just that's a lot. And then she goes and puts on 2 matches for y'all as a champion, and they have to be quality matches, and she's always trying to top her last one. And I got mad respect for Kenzie, but am I gonna take her spot? Yeah, yeah, I am. Ha ha, honey. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Ain't nothing. It's not, no shade or nothing. It's just that's how the game goes. Don't hate the player, hate the game, for real. Yeah. But I think me and Kenzie could have good program, man. Like a good story, not just like a one-off match for the title, like a good program. I think me and Rosa, me and Ruthie, me and Sam. What's I'm tired too, guys. I haven't worked as much as him, but I'm tired. But yeah, Baby Doll's daughter, Samantha Starr. There we go. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. All of them, any of them. Ella Envy, I don't even know if she's still there. I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, any of those girls, very aggressive, very creative in their own way, and I would just eat them all up. Hate to tell you. Hate to tell you. And I cheat. I don't care. I'll admit it.
Okay. You know, you brought up earlier your last match for OVW.
Mm-hmm. It was sad. Oh my God, it was sad.
Would you call that a passing of the torch at all to J Rod?
Oh, pass the torch to J Rod. J
Or is,
Rod.
is that a tough one?
Mm, you know, kinda, kinda. I obviously I think if I like got to choose who I was gonna end my career to and pass the torch to, then it would be different. But I will say I'm glad it was her out of the options that we had. J Rod, she's on the right path, man. She's she's pretty cool. She just is bigger than me and stronger than me. I don't appreciate that.
Is that where the
Yeah,
gym
no.
plays in?
I'm not passing the torch on OVW. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna scratch everything I just said. OVW will forever be my house and I'm gonna make a big return one day. So no.
Okay.
Not passing the torch to her. She's already ruining it as we speak, to be honest.
She's tarnishing the great name.
Yeah, she is. She is. And when people start turning off the TV, J Rod, it's gonna be personal.
How did
Yeah.
you feel when that locker room came out and emptied and everybody was applauding and then, your mom gets in the ring and you guys share the ring together?
It was that was a good moment for me. That was good. I'm glad that I guess I got the recognition from some of the boys and them in the back. But the mom and me in the middle of the ring thing, that was a good way for me to end it. I feel like she was a big part of my OVW success and she was there all the way up until the end. So I'm glad that's like the final picture of me in the OVW ring is me and her, as it should be. Yeah. A couple people missing, Rev. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah. He came to the show, but he didn't come to the show, if that makes sense.
He didn't come out to the ring.
No, nobody even knew he was there. I didn't even know he was there until I went outside. He was super sneaky.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was so good. And then I'm like, what the hell? You should have came to the ring. And he's like, no, I'm not doing people today. Yeah, no, no. He came out. He was actually sick, and he still came out there. He came in his PJs looking crazy as hell. So that's probably why nobody's seen him. But he still made it there for me. My son was supposed to be there. He was sick. He didn't get to come. That was heartbreaking for me. All those little girls crying. Oh my God. After the show, they got me. When I came out of the locker room, they got me. They all surrounded me. It was like 5 of them. They were bawling. My girls. My girls. Yeah. That was hard too.
What was that last conversation with Al like before you left?
It was good. It was good luck. Always going to be here if you need me. Do the right things. Just remember you're starting at the bottom again. So, do the right things. Don't go in there thinking you're top dog like you like to do. Just the usual good luck, Chuck, stuff. Yeah. And then he also gave me a cheesecake. I don't know if that was because I was leaving or if because somebody brought him like 3 or 4 of them. It looked so cute. It was like picture perfect cheesecake with the berries on top. I don't even eat cheesecake. It was so pretty. I took it. I don't know. Thank you. Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
it take to go back?
To go back, it better take me doing better out here, somewhere else. I got to take over somewhere else. I got to do something else and prove that I'm not just all OVW. That's what everyone knows me as, OVW. I'm the face of the place, you know? And yeah, I got to get away from that and show them that I'm more than that. Um, yeah, and then I'm gonna go back. Then go back. Really, all it takes is hey, you want to come in for the Rumble? I'll be like, yeah, I'll go do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Is
don't know.
is is that where reality of wrestling comes into play? Is that
Bingo, 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 bingo. I'm out here in Texas. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take over. Booker T called me a while back, and was like, come out here and give me 6 months. And I was like, can't do that. Got a kid, got a house, got OVW, not happening. And then I realized I'm not getting any better at OVW. I'm not doing anything, to progress. And I was like, frick it. I talked to my support system. We set up some stuff, and I was on my way. And yeah, I'm gonna take over here. I'm gonna take over here. That's about it. That's all I got to say on that one.
okay? So you did mention earlier that it's at least 3 to 4 months. Is that just like the training program?
That's just me, I guess, my life program.
Okay. That's just okay. I
Yeah,
was
I mean,
just
he asked me for 6 months to come work with him, but I
okay.
said I could do a solid 3. I mean, like I said, I have a kid at home, and
Yeah.
it's just not easy being away from him. So I get to go visit and whatnot, but it's just like it's not the same. So I'm not permanently moving out here or anything like that, as far as I'm concerned yet. I mean, who knows? Something may happen. I don't know. You know. But yeah, no, that's just my life timing, I believe.
Okay. With that said, we are filming this on Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Woo!
What would you say, seeing as how the calendar years realistically just started, what's your goals for 2025?
My goal is to put on some weight, look more like a wrestler because I'm small. I'm tired of people throwing me around. And then also just build my brand more. I'm gonna start YouTubing and vlogging since I left OVW. And I think, people are constantly asking me, oh, when's Netflix coming out with part two? When's, season two? And I'm like, yeah. But that just tells me that they're interested in what I'm doing and want to know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna give it to them. Um, yeah, so whenever I drop my video, you better slide it out and let everybody know. Haley J Netflix part two.
Okay. We can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's my goals. It's pretty big. Even that social media stuff is a lot of work. I'm sure you doing these podcasts is a lot
It's
of work.
tough.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot going on. And I'm not the best at social media anyways. Me and them haven't had the best run through. People like talk a lot of shit on social media and I don't really appreciate that. But um yeah, I got all my notifications turned off. Like I'm not a big social media person, and that's one of my downfalls. I got to get on it. People are constantly telling me like you got to build your brand. You got to do the social media. People want to see what you're doing. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, all right. So I'm gonna try to be better at doing that and giving people what they want, opening up the doors a little bit. You know. Yeah.
I got one more question. It was a request from a family member. They just
Uh,
want to simply know where the sock of rocks came from.
Homie, don't play that. Y'all know what that is.
No, actually, I don't. I'm uncultured sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Um. Well, it was a lot. I guess I got a lot of different whatchamacallits, inspirations. But that's what I always think about when I hit people. I always think, homie, don't play that. And for those who know, they know. But also, I used it in real life one time. Actually, a couple times. One time I used a can of corn in the
Oh
sock.
shit.
Yeah, and then the other times we put rocks in there. But I learned like bust open. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It was inspiration. My friends, I had a girl from Chicago who did that, the can of corn thing, and I always put like socks or not socks, rocks in there, and we just kind of merged. And then when I started wrestling, it was like, oh, you need like a finish or whatever, and I'm like, I'm small, like I'm a bad guy. This will work. Boom, I have an idea. I was like, I got a gimmick. I got a whole sock of rocks. It's gonna work every single time. And it don't matter how big or small you are, you get knocked out. So yeah. The inspiration came from the streets in real life. I seen it worked and I said, bet. Let me use that.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Everyone always asks me if it's iCarly, Sam with her sock of butter, which is so funny because I didn't even think
That's
about
actually
that. But I'm
hilarious.
like, yeah, that's my generation. Like I'm an iCarly girl. I watched them and I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
Didn't even put that together.
No, but sock of butter, I love it. Genius.
Before we get going, are there any social media accounts or anything that you'd like to plug? Let the people know where they can attempt to see the latest, Haley
Not
J.
attempts. I just
I'm
told
just
you we're
kidding.
getting better at this. Yeah. So all my social media handles at HollyHood Haley J. That's it. If somebody has
Okay.
got an underscore or something, they're probably asking you for money. It's not me. A lot of people make a lot of fake accounts. That makes me so mad. But none of them are me. It is at HollyHood Haley J. All smushed together. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. That's on TikTok. And on YouTube, I haven't posted my first video yet, but when that gets started, HollyHood Haley J. So yeah, make sure y'all watch that if y'all really want to know what I'm gonna be doing.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Exactly.
Haley, I just want to say thank you before we get going. I really appreciate you coming on here. Um, you're always doing things everywhere. Maybe we can get you back on here next year and get a little
Yeah,
update, see how
yeah,
you're
yeah. A
doing.
little update. A little
Yep.
update. Yeah. I'll remember you now. Do your podcast. I won't be yeah. You know.
Thank you
Shout
so
out to
much.
Tough though. Remember that. Shout out to
Yes.
Tough. I'm gonna
He's
start doing better.
actually
I promise. This is
going back to Tough before we go. I guess
yes.
he was one of the first guys actually from a locker room. Him and Pondo, Madman Pondo,
Mhm.
were the
Mhm.
first two that um, really just said, "Yeah, I'll come on." And it's kind of crazy because speaking of IWA is where I found independent wrestling, and it was
Mhm.
Tony and Pondo
Mhm.
and Ian Rotten, guys like that putting their bodies and lives on the line and for our
Crazy.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Much love. Much love.
but on that front, I'll just say thank you once again, and we'll see you next time.